Now we are going to start with the second session of the evening, and my God, the talks that we have for you, you are not ready for this. Our first speaker for the second session is a force of nature. She is an Abu Dhabi-based entrepreneur, award winner, TEDx speaker, and also the founder of Freya's House of Beauty, a boutique salon celebrated for its designer hair philosophy and dedication to empowering women through self-care. And all ladies in Abu Dhabi, I don't think there are any ladies who are especially into community, entrepreneurship, business, wouldn't know her. I'm sure everyone here in Abu Dhabi, especially as women, would definitely know who she is. Beyond beauty, she is also the curator and voice behind several of Capital's most trusted online communities, bringing together thousands through meaningful conversations on lifestyle, well-being, and real estate. Ladies, let's put our hands together and welcome the founder of Freya's House of Beauty, Freya Jaffar. A cancer warrior herself, Freya continues to inspire confidence, connection, and authenticity, reminding women that beauty and well-being begins within, as reflections of strength, purpose, and self-expression. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm going to sit down for this, but I'm not going to be long. So forgive me if I don't speak very well. I'm not a natural speaker, but it's all very new for me. I just was diagnosed last year. And my talk today is about from diagnosis to empowerment. That's my topic. So diagnosis, I think, with any sort of bad news in your life, I can only describe it as an out-of-body experience. And I think because I wasn't as empowered for myself, that I was very unaware of what was happening to my body. And I think a lot of us women, we place ourselves very last in the list of life, our children, our families, and we just leave things, oh, we'll do it later, we'll eat last, we'll go to the doctor late, we leave ourselves. And I spent a year like that. I probably had cancer for at least 18 months now, thinking back. And I just thought I was tired. I thought I had a lot to do. You know, I have mashallah 4 children, I have a business, and I do a lot of community things. I just thought I'm tired, I need to take a break. And I remember telling some close friends and relatives that I think I need a holiday. I haven't had a holiday for 5 years. And I then actually went to a doctor, and it's very important, first of all, to find a good doctor. I found a doctor who didn't listen to me for about 7-8 months, completely missed my cancer, which is very much textbook symptoms. Now with me, as sort of in layman's terms, I'm not a medical professional, but now if someone tells me these symptoms, I would say, please go to a good doctor, you know? So when it came to me sort of lying on this couch for 2 months, not being diagnosed, and just kind of, I was made to think, okay, I'm a woman in my late 40s, and this is normal, you change of your periods, you know, all these, it's just, so I accepted it, and I thought maybe that's it. And I bled for 12 months non-stop, 12 months, and it got to the point where I had to buy the diapers for incontinence that I had to wear at night, and I sort of began to accept it, you know, again, last on the list, busy with so many things, and then I think I just lost so much energy, I lost so much blood that I went back to my old gynecologist. He took one look at me and he listened to my whole story. And within 2 weeks, he did all the tests, he ran all the biopsies, and I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And this is where I sort of start the talk as well. I was diagnosed, and I don't think I've ever cried that much. And it just, you know, when you see the videos on TV when there's someone standing still and there's the world rushing around them. I lived like that for 2 weeks because, you know, when they diagnose you, till all the investigations, you don't know if you're going to live, you're going to die, where is it in your body, and that black tunnel that you're in, it's just like another world, and you fear about everything, and it just makes everything so unimportant in your life. And I think cancer was my empowering tool. Like, I have no resentment to the cancer. It was just a year ago. I mean, all of 2024 I spent dealing with cancer. And I remember the turning point for me was that I was being rolled into the MRI because they did all the, you know, PET scans and tests. And then they had to determine I had the spread risk. And I remember crying because I broke down the minute I was going to the MRI, and this panic and this fear, you know, like a panic attack. And I couldn't, even though the MRI was an open one, and I was crying. And I remember the doctor, she was very nice. She bent down and she whispered in my ear. She said, you know, 50% of your healing is in your mind. And she goes, you really have to make yourself very strong and you will really do well. And I thought, gosh, she's a medical professional. Normally they don't say these things. And I got a bit of confidence, and I thought, so I went in the MRI, and then I came home, and I remember sitting in a mall, just drinking coffee. At this point, nobody knew that I had cancer. And I was again in that position where I'm still, and I just watched people, and I thought, I was like them yesterday, 2 days ago, and now, I'm in another sort of alternative world that's running parallel. So actually, then I went to hospital. I had my surgery and I had radiation, and the process to empowerment with cancer is not just the cancer. Cancer was a very small part of this journey. I'd say it was 20%. What no one prepares you for is things like complications, how it affects your business, your family, your relationships. I don't know if many of you are in my groups here, but I run very big community groups here, and I had done things for people for years for nothing behind the scenes. And some of those people didn't even check in, whereas someone I had met for 2 minutes, who I thought was an acquaintance, became closer than family for me. I had one lady I met on a collaboration who I couldn't talk when I was diagnosed. I couldn't book my appointments, and I didn't know her very well, but she came into my life saying, I will handle all your appointments. She made every single one of my appointments for 6 months. I didn't have to do anything, and I consider her like family now. So it really, cancer actually empowers you by clearing the clutter in your life. It cleared my life up. It really showed me, because people think you're gonna die. You're, just as a human being without anything, that's when you realize who your true people are. And it really filtered and cleared my life up. And then obviously coming home and recovering, I had complications in hospital, which I didn't expect. I got sepsis, I got a lung infection, I was in a wheelchair that not many people know about. I was just, because I'm so active online, I kind of left auto messages going out, but I was completely offline, and I would just sit in my garden and just sort of think, about life. But and then I just decided to get rid of a lot of noise in my life, a lot of things. I downsized my business. I realized that while I was sick, that the staff I took so much care of was stealing from my business. When I came out of cancer after hospital, 6 months later when I got back to work, they reduced my business to half. So you realize you can be so nice to people, you can give your everything, but this is how they treat you. When they can't give you anything, they can't even give you kindness. And they steal from you, and steal from you when you're at your lowest point on deathbed. So for me, it empowered me, like, okay, you've shown me everything about everyone. I came out and made major life decisions like downsizing, filtering my circle, so then making myself stronger. So I feel now another huge portion of empowering myself was being vulnerable online. It took me to talk like 2 months after I was diagnosed. I shared online that, okay, I have cancer. And then letting down that veil and being vulnerable online was the best thing I think I actually did, because so many people wrote to me, and one lady said, I was sitting in the hospital unit with my husband who just got his diagnosis 10 minutes ago. Another lady said, I got diagnosed the same week as you, and the messages just kept coming in. And I felt that really empowered me for my fight ahead. And I'm still in touch with a lot of those people. I still haven't met many of them, but we check in, and I check on them. How are you? How's your treatment? How is this? And for me, that was the biggest part, opening myself up. Because I think some of us are from South Asia, we're sort of trained, don't talk about it, don't do that. And so I thought, no, I'm going to talk about it, because I felt so alone in my journey, and I felt very scared. And I felt like sharing and talking about it really helped me. It was probably a bit of a selfish motive, because I was, like you're clinging onto something, you feel like you're falling. And I thought, is there anything that anyone I can sort of hang on to that will help me? And no one can understand when you're in that tunnel of cancer, when you have cancer, no one can understand apart from another cancer patient as well. You just can't. I mean, you can understand what is involved, like as a family. I think now at this point, we all have a family member or a relative or a friend who's had cancer. It's just everywhere now. But when you're in cancer, it's like you don't hear, you don't see, you're in another world. And it's only when other people are in that same boat with you that you truly can connect and understand and bring some healing to your heart. So yeah, it was a lot of, for me, getting back on track is just healing, filtering my life. And I think we should all do that pre-cancer actually. We're all in this race for nothing. We don't take anything with us. And I think it brought me very close to God. I was always a practicing person. And, honestly, I think I'm one of those people who also fell into the cultural thing that we do things that we're told and we know, but do we believe? Are we doing it properly? It's only when I was in that 2-week window, I prayed from deep in myself. And I felt that was my very big connection. So I think it just cleared my life to God, to work, to my family, to how I spend my time. Like now I'm the happiest just at home sitting with my children. That's the best thing for me. So yeah, for me it's just been lightening the load, reshaping my perspectives and just focusing on every single day. Like now, empowering for me is getting up happy, making my favorite coffee. I'm gonna wear something nice. I'm gonna do my hair and nails. People will see me, my hair is done, my nails are done, but there are days when I'm still like, I still have radiation side effects, and it's very fresh for me, the cancer. So I have days where I can't leave the house. I'll be in and out of the toilet. I start bleeding. It's not pleasant at all, but I don't leave the house for 3 or 4 days. I don't show it online. I don't talk about it, but you'll see me outside. When you see me, I'll have my nails done and my hair done. I don't want to put that burden on anyone. I don't want to be the victim that feels sorry for me. I'd rather talk about it so that women can go and get themselves checked. And I think for me, being vulnerable online empowered me. And I think I remember one lady, one of my clients came to me, she said, when your post went up, she said, I've booked an appointment at the hospital the same week. And she said, the doctor said, we have to operate immediately because they had found some cysts in her. She said, I wouldn't have gone if I didn't see your post. So I tell every woman now, everybody I meet, I said, any change in your periods are not normal. You must go and get yourself checked out. Don't put yourself after your children, after your partner. Don't worry about work. For me, I'm a believer that your risk is written. Whatever you're going to earn and eat and live, it's already there for you. It doesn't matter how much you chase something. God has already written it. Spend that time with your family and get your health checkups, annual checkups, anything in your body, anything. Just go. What I realized also is the amazing medical care in this country. I had my treatment at SSMC and I was blown away. It doesn't even feel like a hospital, honestly. I think 50% of the sort of psychological weight of the disease was gone because it was such a happy place. So, and the kids would come in, they've got snacks. So the whole journey was so amazing at that point for me. So my message is just, empower yourselves. Go and get your annual checks done. Don't get worried about anything, but don't ignore anything, because when it's caught early, there's far more chances of treating it. Because I think a lot of me, in the back of my mind, like my mother passed away from cancer, so in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if this is a type of cancer? And I admit, delayed it a couple of months. I don't want to see a doctor. What if they tell me it's cancer? So I delayed it, but then I didn't find a great doctor. So yeah, so I would just encourage everybody, get yourself checked out for your families, for your children. And I think Aswa was talking about, the baggage inside. And that's a huge part of the disease, actually. It's a huge part of your health. So being positive, doing things that make you happy, and just let, small things slide. Don't have anger, don't harbor anything. That for me has been a huge part of my healing. Just letting go, not taking anything in a mean way. So yeah, I hope it kind of makes sense, the journey from being in a completely black tunnel to just get yourselves checked. Just, that's my only message.
Thank you very much.